Marks and marking systems, or some would say grades and grading systems. There is much controversy, or at least varying opinions, as to what constitutes a grade or a mark. A mark's primary purpose is to give feedback about a student's level of achievement. Marks should not be given as rewards or punishments. Marks should only reflect academic achievement. Often grades are given for attitude, effort, conduct, etc., but these should not be recorded with marks. In typical schools, there are two major types of marking systems that are being used: types of comparisons and types of symbols. Although most teachers do not have any say in the symbols used for marks, such as A through F or O, S, or U, they can oftentimes control who gets the A or B. That is because marks are based on comparisons. Some examples of these comparisons are student to student, aptitude, actual versus potential effort, actual versus potential improvement, and established standards. There are advantages and limitations for each type of comparison. It is important for teachers to recognize what these are and to make the most appropriate choices. It is also important to communicate with parents on a report card so that the parents better understand what the mark represents. We have all heard about grading on a curve. When comparing students with other students, certain proportions of a class may be assigned grades in comparison with who did the best. The assigned score may or may not truly coincide with how a student performed on the actual test. An example would be if a student earned a traditional 80% on a test, but due to the fact that their score was higher than 95% of the class, they could have an A assigned to their test. This type of marking system does not give a clear picture about absolute achievement and makes comparisons across grades and schools difficult. With established standards, criterion referenced, grades are dependent on how well a student performs compared with pre-established standards. Establishing this standard can be time-consuming and tricky. Agreement on whether or not the same standard should be used for all types of students, gifted, special education, etc., comes into question. The marking system that is based on the student's aptitude has grades that depend on how consistent a student's actual achievement is with his or her achievement potential. There are numerous drawbacks to this type of marking system. One such drawback is that it requires a very complex record-keeping system. There are many negatives that are associated with comparison of achievement with effort. The primary function of marking is to provide feedback about academic achievement. This system may serve to motivate students to put forth effort, but it does not give a clear indicator about achievement. There is no known measure of effort, so it is difficult to have a set standard. Comparison of achievement with improvement is another marking system that many believe to be flawed. It is based on pre-test and post-test improvements. Those students who show the greatest progress earn the highest grade. This could seem to reward those who started out the lowest and penalize students who had a stronger knowledge based on the pre-test. A variety of symbols have been used within marking systems. Most commonly used marking systems are letter grades and numerical grades. Checklists can be used to provide specific information about factors like skill level, conduct, and attitude.